Well, hello there, Damon Pastulka. Happy Monday to you, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing great, Kurt. Ready to go for today.
Let's rock and roll, man. Hey, we've got a really fun Guess what? No guest, man. It's just us. You're stuck with me today. What do you think?
We'll be just fine.
We'll be all right. You'll survive. All right. How was your 4th of July weekend?
It was awesome. It was awesome. Great weather, great people. Yeah, it was just good stuff.
Tons to be so thankful for. My
Yeah.
gosh, right?
Yes.
Friends, family, good food.
Nature. It was just like one of those where you go, I'm good with this.
Yeah. Yeah, just it's we're so fortunate, so
Yeah.
blessed.
Yeah.
We're great, all the above, just celebrating, so I was on a boat on 4th of July, and I actually text you a video, but just to share with
Yes.
folks out there. So I'm on a boat for 4th of July, and as I pull up, there's like hundreds of boats, and they had a stage and a DJ, and a woman is singing the national anthem, and if there's hundreds of boats, there's got to be thousands of people, right? And everybody's just going. It was, oh my god, I got chills just listening to it. People are just hooting and hollering, and just what a wonderful, incredible celebration for our country, and
Yeah.
just everything that we're just so thankful for, and just it was awesome. So
Yeah. Yeah. We were able to go down and watch this fireworks in Seattle on Lake Union off the back of a boat. And the first time I've ever been able to do that. So it was I've never seen a city fireworks before, right?
oh yeah,
You're on a realize it was really something. It was 45 minutes of just beautiful. And if anyone likes fireworks, I would say go to Facebook or something and look up the Seattle fireworks because they were very good this year.
very good. That
Yeah,
that is awesome. As a matter of
yeah,
fact, you're in Seattle. I had friends. They were here from Seattle, and where I live, the fireworks are like right down our street. We walked
nice.
down and just had wonderful fireworks on the little lake
Yeah,
I live on. And hey, we've got Gary Woods here. And Gary, happy
Gary.
Monday. Hope you had a spectacular, wonderful 4th of July. Harry's in the house. Harry,
Hey, Harry.
man, what an inspiration this guy is. So, all right,
Yes.
big hello to both you. You're out there. Drop us a note. Let us know you're there. We're gonna dive into live streaming. We're gonna have a quick session here with Damon and myself. Damon, let's dive into live streaming. Let's talk about the benefits. Okay. So, title of our program today, we're diving into sales growth opportunities. Big word that I love. Everybody comes up with like the word of the year. One word I love, love, love is possibilities. What are the possibilities? And I'll tell you, when we last time we dug into like our live stream journey, origin story, all that stuff. So you can go back and catch that one. But today we want to talk about possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the opportunities, some of the possibilities for anybody out there that wants to start live streaming? What are your thoughts?
Well, I think it is the way to build relationships that is not like normal business development.
Mm.
And that's one of the possibilities are you can build relationships that are deeper, and I think in a structured manner, and I don't want that to sound clinical because it's not,
Mm.
but that really allow you to get to know people.
Right. Right. On a really different level. And so, and you're, dude, I have a couple surprises for you. So this morning I was out, it was just a wonderful, incredible weekend. I came in all juiced up. And so I reached out to a couple people. So I reached out to a founder of a software company this morning, invited them on the show. And then I reached out to the president and the director of a major organization, and just dropped a note on LinkedIn and just said, hey, I just really admire, respect the awesome work that you're doing. It would be such a privilege to have you on our program. And so again, we're using this to reach out to awesome people. Number one, selfishly and shamelessly, like the learning opportunities
Oh God.
that we get just from bringing the guest on are just incredible. But also, like you're saying, creating that relationship. So the two people I reach out to today, and let's keep our fingers crossed that we get them on the show. Great value for our audience here. And what you're in, dude, if they say yeah, you're fired up. But the thing is, if I just reach out like, hey, can we get on a call? Hey, can I tell you about my services? It's just such a different, it just flips the script. What are your thoughts?
It really does. It really does, because you can see what someone is passionate about and you can ask them to come on your show and talk about that. Right. And because, if that aligns with what you're doing, if that aligns with the industry you're in, if that aligns with how you want to help people and help organizations, it's natural.
Mhm.
It's a natural outreach. Whereas if I'm contacting you, Kurt, I'm going, hey, Kurt, you want to talk about, maybe preparing your business for sale someday, selling it, whatever you want to do. That's what we do. It's like, ditch that and go, hey, do you want to come on Manufacturing E-commerce Success? Because we share stuff that manufacturers need so they can grow, so they can become better businesses and have great cultures. And it's a whole different conversation.
Right. Right. If you're a solopreneur out there, our buddy Gary Woods out there,
Yeah.
so any solopreneurs out there, or I don't, you're a big business, you could be Apple, you have to do business development. You have to do business development. So this morning I'm like, okay, well, I need to do some business development. And you know what? I want to get some wonderful, amazing, incredible people on our show, because now that delivers value to folks like Harry. We've got Raja here today. He says good morning. And so, we've got, Gary says happy Monday to you.
Thanks,
and Damon.
Gary.
Thank you, Gary. And again, any of our friends out there, drop us a note, let us know where you're coming from. But we're talking about the benefits and the sales growth opportunities. And again, one of our favorite words, possibilities, with live stream. So Damon, we always talk about those cold calls. Well, you have to do business development, and it is a cold call. So how do we can flip the script on that cold call? Just you've had hundreds of guests on Faces of Business, hundreds of guests here on our show, Manufacturing E-commerce Success. Talk a little bit, like, how are you strategically getting guests on your show?
Well, it's similar to what we're doing with Manufacturing E-commerce Success. I see people doing stuff that are really helping people in the way that I like to.
Mm-hmm.
And I reach out. I'm reaching out to people all the time. And like you said, you reach out to people. I reached out to 4 people this morning, because I was like, hey, let's come on the show. Let's talk about this. This is what you're doing. This is how it relates to the audience, because we can share you and give these people some great information. That is my business development. Because my business development is, I want to get to know the person. And then once I get to know the person and they can share what they're really passionate about and what they get to do, well, then we'll see what happens after that. And it's not like it's a quick fix or anything like that, but it is a way to build long-term sustainable relationships.
I totally agree. And so now, another way to look at it is new prospects. I don't want to use the word old, right? Because we're not old, we're seasoned. And but say contacts, customers, clients, business relationships that you've had for many, many years. So you can use it to how do I break the ice, create a new relationship with somebody, number one. Number two, how can I strengthen a current or existing relationship? Or maybe there's somebody, man, I haven't talked to this person in 2 or 3 years. It's a great opportunity to reach out to them, say, hey, what's going on? Do you have something new and exciting? Boy, you were on the show a couple years ago, or, we haven't talked in a long time. Have them come back on the show.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about, having those existing current relationships?
Well, that is a great thing, because once you've established these relationships or have these relationships, they may not have been on a live stream before, but you can have them come on to your live stream. There's no reason you can't ask your, second cousin that's an artist, come on, it doesn't matter. You can get whoever you want on there, your old friends. Sometimes they've got the best stories, right? You've got the best, you've gone through some trials and tribulations with them. You solve an industry challenge with them. Maybe you did it a few years ago. Bring those people on, because you can rekindle and nurture those relationships for the long term by featuring those people over time again.
Right, definitely. And so, you can look at it again from a cold call standpoint. How do I convert a cold call into a warm conversation? This is a phenomenal way to do it, number one. Number two, it's strengthening, encouraging current existing relationships, building on those. And now let's get into that referral network. Okay.
Yeah.
So, that's another great way. So, we're having, we have Greg Mishu coming on the program next week. We have RJ, who's an e-commerce expert, coming on the show next week. So we're having other collaboration folks. Let's go dive into a little bit on, how about creating that referral network and how you can utilize your live stream show to help strengthen that referral network.
Well, I think there's a great opportunity there with your soulmate 100s, like we talk about a lot. Those are the people that are working in your industry that have one-to-many relationships. So like, see, for me, I do fractional CFOs, fractional COOs, could be marketers that are working in the kind of companies that that I work with. And it's really a nice to be able to have them on the show to talk about what they're helping people with. And they have a lot of clients in their business that I don't necessarily know. And that's where those referral opportunities can be developed over time by the relationships you build, and then just helping them be successful so you can be successful.
Yeah, definitely. So, that's a two-pronged attack right there, because you can have a customer come on and, or a client or what have you, and you can walk through a case study, like,
Yes.
hey, here was a challenge that customer had. Here's how we work together. And
Yep.
here's what came out on the other side. Shamelessly, it's a wonderful opportunity to get a testimonial, right?
Yes. That is
And
a great way.
just, showcasing your expertise. And it ties in with a line that we use, hopefully we use every episode. How do you out teach the competition, right?
Yes.
How do you out teach the competition? And by using the live stream show to just be that fierce educator. Hey, this is how you do something. There's, there's a million things that Damon, did you know in my neighborhood, if I'm ever caught seen with a tool of any type, like even a hammer, like our neighbors they're instructed to call 911. Like, if Kurt has a tool. So there's a lot of things that I just don't know, so I have to, like if you're great with tools, I could watch your show. Then maybe people won't call 911 if I have a tool in my hand. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Well, as interesting as it may seem, but one of the first people that really did a lot of LinkedIn live streaming was a plumber.
What?
And he still does to this day. And I forget his name, but I used to study his videos in the beginning. And I was like, What is he doing?
Right.
He's just talking about plumbing, how you clean a drain, how you put a disposal in, how you do this.
Yeah.
Questions to ask your plumber when they come to the house. I mean, it's just, it doesn't really matter what you do,
right?
But you can create this great content and build these relationships and build a community around you. I mean, we are so fortunate in the shows because we are building this community of people that are helping businesses grow and be better and then when it comes time that we can refer people to the people we've had on the show, or they can refer people to us, or we can just help people with the information. They find what they hear what they need on the shows. It's all good for us. And we build this community of people that we're always talking, we're always figuring out what's going on and what's changing.
Right. It's that ecosystem of like staying in our lane, talking with, mainly primarily B2B folks, again, so any friends out there that are listening to this, like, okay, I hear what you're saying. And how would live stream be applicable to me? Use the plumber's a fantastic example. Anybody that's in the service sector on Main Street, whenever I'm talking to them, I'm like, if I was you, I'd be going all in on LinkedIn. Why? Because number one, it's the highest level income of any social media platform is LinkedIn, right? I believe that's fact. Number one. Number two, there's 700 million people on LinkedIn, and every one of them is a consumer in some capacity, right? And so, and it's not as noisy as the other platforms. So I think going live would be a fantastic option here. Hey, we've got Harry's dropped a question here. Because you're live, have you ever had show go sideways? And if so, how did you handle it? Hey,
many times.
And you, Krish, I hope I'm saying that correctly. Good morning to you, my friend. And all right, how did we handle that? And Gary Wood says, hey, that's a great question.
That is a great
Gary,
question.
right? Damon, what do you say about any, I haven't made every mistake because I know I have tons ahead of me that I don't even know. But what are some of your thoughts?
Well, I think, okay, first of all, you get down to the technical stuff that happens, right? Internet dies all the time on people. It just happens.
Right.
That's going to happen. How many times have it happened to us where the guest just freezes, drops off?
Yeah.
And sometimes they come back or sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
So that's one that you just keep talking through it. Yeah. But, and then there can be some things where we've had it before. It's been a long time now where we've had several guests on different shows where they got heated, right? They got heated.
Oh,
And you go, okay, that's something you really need to prepare yourself for, because you have to be able to control that conversation. It's not hard. It's just one of those things that you need to do, because you can bring the sanity back into the conversation.
Right.
We are fortunate. Our guests, we don't really have that kind of people in there, knock on wood. Yeah. But I'm confident though, Harry, that if it did happen, I've got the kill button on their mic. I can do a whole lot of things if you really need to. And it's just being polite. And I think though, when you talk about things and we think about like tempers flaring and stuff like that, as a host, what you're exuding is what your guests will come out with. And I think you do a great job of this, Kurt. The just massive positivity and humility and calm. It'll help us really allow the people to discuss even tough things a lot better.
Yeah. And I will say, I avoid, as my wife, I avoid conflict at all costs, so that's, so it's not something that, for this particular show, I tell you, if we did get, controversial or temperamental or whatever, like maybe like we'd actually have rate, like that's because that's the conflict is where you get ratings, right? But we welcome and we're embracing the positivity, as you said, the kumbaya. We're here doing this to really showcase and doing it with just pure genuine intentions of showcasing the guest,
yes,
their superpowers and what they're awesome at. And so, and here's one thing that I don't do, and I don't know if I should, is we typically don't, the guest typically doesn't know what the questions are going to be when they come to the show. And so, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but we've had hundreds of guests, and maybe out of hundreds, a handful of times, a small percentage, we've had some dialogue back and forth, or hey, how about these questions, or how does this lining of questions go? But let's see, I can tell Kurt has some experience. Hit the kill button. I like that. So that is not a good comment, Damon. Have a template. You both do that. So Harry, fantastic question. And like I said, I think we've been just so fortunate and so blessed with amazing, incredible, wonderful guests that but like you're saying, Damon, the technology can go sideways. I've been on site. When I go live on site, I think I right when I think I've made every mistake possible, I find a new one. I was on site in Chicago last 2 Thursdays ago and found a whole new where StreamYard was not streaming to LinkedIn. So here we are, we're all geared up and we're going to go. And then StreamYard says, oh, we're not going to LinkedIn today, or whatever.
Yeah.
So, it just happens. You roll with the punches and do the best that you can. Right.
Yeah. All that kind of stuff is going to happen. And you just got, like you said, you have to have a good attitude about it, because we're not here to be perfect. We're here to be better and just keep doing as good as we can. And if technology doesn't want to cooperate, it's like the way it is. You still got to have fun.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, and again, I think like our genuine intention is to bring in amazing people who selfishly we're just super excited to learn from. And having these guests has truly been life altering for me.
Mm-hmm.
We could name names and we'd be here too long to say this person changed me, this person, right?
Yeah. And it's not the famous people. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. That's there are just people walking around us every day that are so extraordinary that we don't even know. We just pass them by in the grocery store. And if you knew their story, you'd be like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah.
What they've done, what they've gone through, the discoveries. There's just so much to that.
Yeah. And I think, obviously we're super, super bullish. I think everybody, obviously I'm a little biased. I think everybody should consider some type of platform like this. But what is it? One of the greatest human traits is people long for recognition.
Yeah.
And so the thing is, for most entrepreneurs, it's lonely. Yep. challenging. It's stressful. Your nose to the grindstone. Whether if you're an entrepreneur trying to make a living, you have 5 employees and you feel responsible for those 5. You have 100 employees and you feel responsible for all 100. Whatever wherever you're at. What the live show opportunity does is that we bring on the guests and it gives them a moment to shine and just to share their experience, to share their expertise. We had a gentleman, John was on a few weeks ago, and he shared how his business completely tanked during 2008 and no fault of his own. And, you talk about things going sideways or south. His whole business went south. He had some personal things that went bad. He had a couple family members that passed away. He and his wife look at each other and said, "Hey, what are we doing here? Why don't we get a fresh slate? And why don't we move to Portugal?" Like I didn't know that about him. I had no idea that story about him. I'm like, I go, "Are you in Portugal?" He goes, I go, "Yeah." I go, "Man, how'd that happen?" And he lets he knew that story and he had an opportunity to share that here. So that's what I think is just, it's just so exciting. It's just such a gift.
Yeah. And you think about this for the relationships it builds and the sales growth opportunities that it creates for your business and that's great. You're creating these sales growth opportunities because ultimately we do have to drive business. But I think you sit here and you think about cold calling, emailing, blogging, and you go, okay, yeah, those are effective in their own way as business development tools. But what feels better to me?
Yeah, that you're hitting it, dude. Drop the mic, Damon. You're hitting
I mean, because this is really it, right? I absolutely freaking hate cold calling to a point that I would rather, honestly, give me a nail gun. I'll shoot it through whatever hand you want it to go through because it would be better. And then you go, now it's so much easier. It's like I said, I reached out to 4 people this morning and it's like, hey, this is what let's get on, blah, 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 blah. In our process that we've developed this process over hundreds of shows and hundreds of guests, thousands of guests being invited. It's really not even like business development. It's like, we're just making friends.
Yeah. Yep. Totally agree. So, all right, we'll start winding down. Damon, as we wind down, we've got a great guest on Friday coming up. We're going to be deep dive on sales strategies for businesses, for entrepreneurs, and manufacturers. I think we have a special co-host that's going to join on Friday. We'll keep you posted there. Any parting thoughts, words of wisdom that you want to share with folks as we wind down today?
No, really? Yes. I said no first. Excuse me. And that's the wonderful thing about life is I think really you consider live streaming as we all used to have websites, right? And now the websites have to be so advanced. And now we go, okay, we were email marketing and we were buying Google ads. And now we got to create content. We got to do all this other stuff. And I'm like, listen, if I'm in a business that I want to get 10, 20 customers a year because I work with big accounts or something like that, why not do it with live streaming? Reaching out to these people in these organizations that are interesting, that you can learn from, that, hey, maybe we could do some business someday together, but I want to talk about you because you're doing something cool in the industry. That's what I think. If I'm in a business like that, it is a live streamer's dream.
Blue ocean, man. If you are looking to separate yourself from the competition, and I love what you just said, live stream today is what websites were 20, 25, 30 years ago, where, oh, gee, I need to get a website. What's this new, internet's a fad. It's not going to last, right? Thing.
Yeah.
Well, that's what live stream is today. If you want to just truly separate yourself, build a robust content machine, and just have incredible, wonderful business relationships, this is really the place to do it. So, I think, Damon, this was a fun little session, man. So I know we have a hard stop. We're going to wind down and wrap up. So, Damon, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for everybody out there. Thank you for all the comments in the chat box. We appreciate it. And we are going to be back on Friday, same time, 12:32 Eastern, 9:32 Pacific. And we're going to have, we have a phenomenal lineup of guests this month for July. So
Oh, it's going to be great.
July is heating up, and we will see you guys soon. Thank you. God bless. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you Friday.
Thanks, everybody.